Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today's video is going to be the 25 books that I plan on reading in 2025. So this is a list that I have made of 25 priority reads that I really want to get to in 2025 at whatever point in the year. I obviously know this list is probably going to change, and by the end of the year I feel like I'm going to be like, why did I put this book on this list? I'm not reading that. But I feel like it's fun to have a little list and see if we can get to some of these. A lot of these have been on my TBR for quite a while, or on my mental TBR, or on my wish list for quite a while. So I feel like, what's the better time to read them than the present? Let's get to these books in 2025. These are the physical ones that I actually do own and really want to get to. I obviously know I have more on my physical TBR, but these are the ones that I'm like, you must read immediately. I'm so excited for them. I can't wait. I have the urge to read them, and I really want to get to them. Also, just a little disclaimer, I am still ill. I don't know if anyone can tell from my voice, but in the last video I sounded ill, and then in this video I also sound ill, so I'm very sorry about that. But hopefully by the next video the voice will be back to normal and I won't be ill anymore. As always, let me know what 25 books, or some of the 25 books that you plan to read in 2025. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know if we have some of the same ones, or maybe I could add some of your guys' picks to my list, because I plan on reading so many good books in 2025. I feel like there's so many I want to get to, way more than 25 books that I want to get to, and I feel like my reading tastes have kind of tweaked a little bit, and I feel like I've got the perfect reading taste at the moment, so I'm so excited. But without further ado, let's get into the video and see the list. Okay, so first of all I'm going to run through the physical books that I have, because I have them here with me. So first things first, I have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This one I am so excited to read. I'm so excited to read. I got book faired this one, which is super exciting, and yeah, it's been on my wish list TBR, mental TBR for ages. It's basically this huge high fantasy series, and you can read it alongside the prequel series, so you're gonna be super immersed in the whole world. And it's about a maiden called Poppy, and I think that, I'm not that sure. Okay, I could be so wrong, but I think that maidens are not supposed to speak or anything like that, and it's a world of gods and monsters and mortals and immortals, a fallen kingdom. There's so much going on here. I've heard that it's very in-depth and takes quite a lot of brain power to read, but I'm ready. 2025, I'm coming for you. Okay, the next book I have is Addicted for Now by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the third book in the Addicted/Calloway Sisters universe. I am super excited for this one because I love Lillian Lowe, and if you know, you know. This one is basically about a sex addict and an alcoholic, and you follow in their story. It's not a perfect love story, but it is one that is you learn to connect with and love, and it kind of reads almost like a reality TV show. I have heard people compare this series to Magnolia Parks, but American. It's kind of like rich people's lives, and you're just following along with it, and there is going to be 3 couples. So yeah, I'm very excited as well to get on to Rose and Connor's books, because I know I'm going to love them, so I need to get through this one. Next, I have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This one is a kind of high romantasy book. It's the first book in a new series, and this one's got dragons, it's got an assassin, so it's just got lots of stuff packed into it, and I'm so excited to read it. I can't wait. I've heard that this one reads very detailed, so I'm kind of scared, but at the same time I'm very excited. Next, I have Beartown by Frederick Backman. This one I got given to me for Christmas by my boyfriend, and I've wanted this one for so long. I feel like Frederick Backman is one of those authors I'm so excited to read. I feel like his books are so different and unique in a way, and I really can't wait to read his writing style and try it out. This one is about a town torn in half by one act, and it's kind of like a hockey town. It's a really small town in, I want to say Canada. no, it's Swedish, sorry. And it's kind of this town that's like struggling a little bit. They don't get much sort of tourist income and that kind of thing. And it's half the town want to keep this act hushed up, the other half want to seek justice. Next I have the first classic on the list. We have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. If you know me, you know that one of my all-time favourite books is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, so I feel like I need to read some more Bronte sisters' works, and obviously Jane Eyre is super popular. It's a gothic love story type book and it's so loved. I need to read this one. Then I have the literal newest addition to my TBR. I picked up this yesterday. This is Rivals by Julie Cooper. I just watched the series and loved it so much. Can't even explain how much I loved it. So I thought, surely I then need to read the book, obviously. So obviously I'm going to go in, I'm going to read this. It's like set in the 80s, it's about rivaling TV companies. They're very rich, all these people. It's like rich people drama again. There's a common theme here. I love rich people drama, apparently. And then the last physical book on my 2025 books is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I plan to read this one as my first book for 2025 because obviously Onyx Storm is coming out really soon and I need to get to that book. I need to. I can't believe I've let it go a year without reading this. Like, girl, what are we doing? I need to get on with it. So I'm gonna read it on my family like holiday vacation in January, and I'm finally gonna do it. I've just heard so much mixed opinions on it that I'm a bit scared. The next book I have is Strung Along by Hannah Cohen. I recently read Snow Harm No Foul, her Christmas novella, and really enjoyed it. I really liked her writing style, so obviously me being a small town romance lover needs to read her Cherry Peak romance series because that is in fact a small town romance series and I'm so excited to get stuck into it. The next one is really different. It's The End of Everything Astrophysically Speaking by Katie Mack, and one thing about me in 2025, I really want to broaden my reading tastes and I want to try out new types of genres and books, and this one is basically about all the possible endings of if the earth did end, like if the world ended, all of the possible causes for it and the possible outcomes for that and what would happen if our world just ended. I'm not too sure, but it sounds so interesting and I really want to like dabble in the whole like sci-fi theories type thing. Like I just want to know what's going to happen if you know, you know. I'm finding this hard to explain, but I just feel like that sounds so interesting. The next book is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas. This one is the, I want to say, 5th book in the Throne of Glass series and I'm so excited for this one. I love the Throne of Glass series. There's literally nothing more I can say. I just feel like we're going to get so much drama and I'm here for it. The next one I have had on my mental TBR for about a year now. It is The Silence in Between by Josie Ferguson, and this one is basically about a mother who leaves her baby in the hospital and then overnight the city is put into lockdown and she can't get back to her baby, and I just feel like that sounds horrible and it sounds like such an impactful book and I can't wait to read it. I saw it in Waterstones when it first came out and I've just had it on my mind ever since. The next one is The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I am currently reading The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, so obviously I really want to get to more of her works. I feel like she's such an incredible storyteller and she really does tell a story so well, and I am so invested in The Nightingale. It's such an amazing, impactful, heartfelt story and I need to read her other books immediately. So I've got The Four Winds on this list and I also have The Women on this list, which is her latest release, and I've also seen that it won Goodreads Historical Fiction Choice of the Year award, so of course I need to get to it. It sounds amazing. Heard so many people speak about it and I feel like she's going to become one of my favourite authors because I am a historical fiction girly through and through. Next up on the list is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I obviously need to read this book. I feel like it's such a renowned feminist novel. I know a few people who have read it and loved it. I need to read it and love it. I'm obsessed. I've seen that Waterstones sell like a special edition version of it that's got such a gorgeous cover. I need to get it. I feel like I have to read this. I also want to broaden out and read more impactful books in 2025, because I feel like I've lost my love for like contemporary romance at the moment. I still love it, don't get me wrong, but I also want to read some like more hard-hitting novels. Switching it up a little bit, we're going more vampire now. I've got The Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This one is like a gothic vampire retelling. I'm pretty sure it's told from the point of view of Dracula's wife, or one of Dracula's wives, and I think it's kind of almost in like a letter format, and she's writing letters to him and you're obviously getting to read them. It sounds very interesting, and obviously we're getting like a different point of view from the Dracula story, and it just sounds really, really great. It's definitely more of like a gothic vibe one, obviously, and I really do enjoy like gothic novels. However, I'm gonna save this one and read it more in like the October time, because it feels like that's when it's meant to be read. The next book is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. This one is obviously a dragon book. I love dragon books, and it is basically following this man who is living in like a war-torn society. He really wants to get out and raise a family, have a happy life, but then that's taken away from him and all he wants is revenge, and it's part of a series. I think it's called The Burning. I think there's currently 3 books out, but there's a 4th one coming, could be wrong, but it sounds like an incredible series. The next book is My Sister the Serial Killer. This is a thriller. This one is by Oyinkan Braithwaite. I really hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I am so sorry if I'm not. This one is a thriller, like I said, and I feel like the title is self-explanatory. I don't like to go into thrillers knowing too much, so I've not really looked too much into the plot, but I've seen so many reviews saying that it is such a good thriller and they all loved it, and I feel like it's honestly hard to sometimes find a thriller that has majority reviews being like, yes, I loved it. I feel like sometimes it's more like, oh, I didn't really like it, or I loved it, I didn't like it, and it's usually quite split. But for what I've seen for this one, the reviews tend to be leaning to love it. So obviously I need to include a thriller on here, and that is the one that I really want to get to in 2025. The next book is Almond by Song Won Pyong. This one is a translated novel, translated by Jusun Lee, and it basically follows someone with a brain condition that doesn't allow him to feel emotions like love, and then on Christmas Eve something really horrible happens, a random act of violence, and this leaves him all alone, and we basically follow his story when he meets someone, and he kind of starts showing his way of like feeling the emotions and showing the emotions, and I just feel like it sounds very heartfelt and a great novel to read. The next book is for all of my Saltburn lovers, because I went through a massive Saltburn era when it came out, the film. It's honestly one of my favourite films. I really, really loved it, and I have been on the search for like books that give off the Saltburn vibe, or books that inspired the film, to add to this list, and one that came up that I'm pretty sure is one of books that like heavily inspired the film, as said by Emerald Fennell, like the director, was Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh, and this one is basically, I think, just like a rich people drama classic. It is a classic, I'm pretty sure. It's from 1945, so it's quite an old book, but from what I've heard and gathered, this is like the OG Saltburn vibe book, and I really want to read it and see what it's all about, because if it inspired Saltburn, then it must be good. Next, I have some new releases. So I've got Wildside by Elsie Silver. This is the 3rd book coming out in the Rosehill Ranch series. I'm a big fan of Elsie Silver. I could not love her books more. Chestnut Springs has my heart, and then I a few months ago I read Wild Eyes when it came out, and oh my god, 5-star. It was so good. I loved it so much, and we kind of got a glimpse of who Wildside is going to be about in that book, and I am very excited because I feel like it's going to be a really good one. It's also a single dad series. I think every book in the series is single dads. Next, I have Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Love the title, first of all. It's given Taylor Swift. I recently discovered that I love Abby Jimenez. This year was the first year I read her books, and the fact that she's got another one coming out, I will immediately be reading it. I'm not sure what it's about, but I love her books. She writes such amazing romances. Next, I have The Queen, Miss Emily Henry's new book, Great Big Beautiful Life. I think this one follows 2 authors, if I am correct. Could be so wrong, not too sure, but I am so excited. I love Emily Henry's books. I've realised recently I didn't like them at first. I will say I wasn't an Emily Henry stan at the start of my reading journey, but Funny Story has solidified that I really do enjoy her writing. Next I have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, again another author I've discovered I absolutely love in 2024. I can't wait for this one. I'm pretty sure it's a sports romance, so it's kind of venturing a little bit away from the whole women in STEM series scientist vibe. I think this one follows 2 swimmers, if I'm correct. I really like the cover, so I'm definitely going to be reading this one. Next, the second to last book is Atmosphere, or The Atmosphere, I think it's just Atmosphere, by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm a big Taylor Jenkins Reid fan. She is the author of Daisy Jones and the Six, Evelyn Hugo, Carrie Soto is Back, one of my all-time favourite books, how could I forget? And then she's like written a bunch of other really great books as well, but she hasn't really written anything in quite a while, I feel like. And then she's announced that she's bringing out a more space-themed, astronaut type sci-fi book, and I think it's set in the 80s. She's been absent for a while, so I'm assuming this one is going to be a banger. And I really like the cover, definitely going to be reading it. And the last book on today's list is The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley. This one I found through Hayley Pham. This book is kind of like, I believe, a sci-fi love story type thing. Not too sure, honestly. The cover's gorgeous. It just won Goodreads Choice Awards of the Year for sci-fi, so obviously it must be amazing. Hayley Pham raves about it. There seems to be some really beautiful quotes in there, and yeah, I really want to get to it. So that is my 25 books of 2025. I tried to run through them really quick fire because we don't want to be here forever. I've not really said much about each book, but obviously stay tuned to see if I do read these books. I am definitely going to be filming some reading vlogs featuring some of them, so stay tuned for that. And of course, they're just 25 books. I plan on reading so many more books than that, and I have so many on my radar that these don't even scratch the surface. And also, this list could change. It's not set in stone, obviously. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and maybe leave some of your books that you're going to prioritise in 2025. Again, I'm sorry for my voice, it's quite nasally at the moment. I really hope to see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye guys.